We're at Kabul airport.
It never crossed our minds, or the minds of our enemies, that we'll be back this way. When the fighting started against the US and NATO, people used to say, they're crazy carrying rifles in the mountains, while the Americans, they can see a needle on the ground, so how could they do that?
Who are the Taliban?
What do you mean by Taliban?
August 2021. The cobweb broke and got torn. And these are its torn silks holding on to their maker, trying to follow him while he forsook them to their inevitable destiny. We all remember the American plane in 2021 when he was taking off and Afghans climbing on it. Do you remember that moment? Kabul airport. We all remember what happened in 2021 and what happened in this airport.
It's time to bring our people back home.
Fighters have flooded the capital.
They're American-made weapons in the hands of Taliban fighters.
This is the US and its allies, rushing to gather their things, hurrying up to escape under the strikes of Taliban after 20 years of occupying Afghanistan. 300,000 Afghan security and military personnel, a prime minister and the parliament are the cobweb that got broken overnight and disappeared and evaporated. So what's the story of Afghanistan?
It was a great joy. I remember I was in Kabul that night, when the last soldier in airplane got out of the Afghan capital, Kabul. And I remember that joy that I probably never had before in my life.
Peace be upon you! We're here in Afghanistan. Once again, look, when you get out of the airport, you see white flags everywhere. And here's Ibrahim.
Peace be upon you, Jihad. Welcome to the Second Emirate.
We came 2 years ago, and we're back now, but things have changed.
Everything, even the government.
We've arrived in Kabul. It's a different feeling. It's a feeling of comfort and peace. It's different. I was scared the first time I came.
And now?
Now things are good. I feel like among my people. When the US forces and America left, they called it the conquest of Kabul. They used to live in mountains. And now, how do you feel? You used to be in the mountains and now you're in the city and you're ruling, you can travel.
Now, we know what life is really like. Before the independence of Kabul, we knew nothing about this life. For 2 years now, we can go all around Afghanistan freely and to go to all provinces. That's after the conquest of Kabul.
It was a great achievement.
Yes, indeed.
The return of Taliban to ruling, they changed the country, and there will be change because it was all corrupted.
After sundown prayer, people couldn't get out of their houses. In Kabul.
Before?
Yes. It's because we fought a lot. To get our freedom. For 20 years.
20 years, right?
Yeah, for 20 years.
They fought for 20 years for this freedom.
For freedom and to establish an Islamic system.
There was no peace in this country before. I was scared when I came here. This is the US Embassy. It's empty. Look, it's empty.
Not only that, there's a NATO base inside it.
This is the US Embassy. It's gone.
Written on the US Embassy walls, the Afghan people defeated America, with God's help.
They lost. The defeat of America, they're unable. There are a lot of mountains. Afghanistan is all mountains. This country is invincible. Taliban is invincible. Check out the map. Can we get in?
No, not right now.
The abandoned US Embassy. Video title.
Personally, I went into it many times. We used to play football there.
Played football in the US Embassy?
In the US Embassy, yes. After the afternoon prayer. And the fighters are still playing football in it.
You're very nice people. Let's know the future of the Islamic Emirate.
Our future is a prosperous one.
He said it's prosperous. They have oil now, and collaborations with some countries like China.
Not only with China, we want to establish good ties with all countries.
All countries.
Yes.
Do you know whose house is this?
Who?
Siraj ad-Din Haqqani, Minister of the Interior.
These walls are long. They built them as they were scared of suicide
They
bombers.
set up these walls as they were scared of Taliban. Then they left. Why were they here?
The Islamic Emirate.
And the flag is changed.
It was changed to a white flag.
A white flag written on it, there's no God
Written
but Allah.
on it, there is no God but Allah.
They have a chance to prove themselves. Look, we have a drone permit. I mean, it's an official country. You'll get a permit if you demand it. In some countries... We'll begin the story from here. From the Kingdom of Afghanistan to the Republic of Afghanistan and the power struggle between political parties.
On Tuesday, July 17th, 1973,
Le royaume d'Afghanistan est devenu république.
To the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan.
Soviet troops have been arriving in increasing numbers since early December.
This invasion is an extremely serious threat to peace.
To the fighters' resistance to the Soviet invasion and the communist government of Afghanistan.
That land over there is yours. You'll go back to it one day and you'll have your homes and your mosques back again. Because your cause is right, God is on your side.
To the defeat and withdrawal of USSR from Afghanistan with the communist Afghan government.
The Soviet Union today formally agreed to pull its troops out of Afghanistan.
When we support the Afghan people, we become caught up in and ennobled by their struggle for freedom.
To the struggle for power between the fighters.
Leadership is very important in a guerrilla warfare.
To the creation of Taliban from the students of Islamic science in Pakistan, from the Pashtun. And the beginning of Taliban rule over Kabul. To 9/11, 2001.
Tonight, the United States of America makes the following demands.
And the American occupation of Afghanistan bringing down Taliban, and Taliban relocating to the mountains, and the fight began against America and its allies, and the Afghan government, appointed by the US for 20 years. To the defeat and departure of the US and conquest of Kabul, and the return of Taliban to rule.
The United States ended 20 years of war in Afghanistan, the longest war in American history.
All these policemen are from Taliban?
Yes.
Oh my God, Afghanistan. Kabuli Palau. Pashtun? You're all Pashtun?
Pashtun, yes. I'm from a Pashtun tribe.
And from the Uzbeks.
We are all brothers.
Yes.
That racism is
gone?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so now, Taliban means student?
Yes.
Or students?
Students, yes. Students of religious schools.
So you're a student?
Yes, I'm a student. These intersections used to be named after leaders of the war. Taliban changed them to the names of the companions of the Prophet and the names of the caliphs and the followers.
We're at the top, at the peak of Kabul. The Islamic Emirate. They said it here. I'm fascinated with the details. And here is the Dome of Rock. Peace be upon you. MashaAllah. Palestine? Palestine? MashaAllah. Peace be upon you.
Peace be upon you.
Kabul.
Kabul, Afghanistan. New city.
He's gonna slaughter a chicken? No.
For you.
No, thanks. Thanks, no.
He said because you came to Afghanistan.
No, please don't. A chicken and someone slaughters a lamb for me? Everybody's inviting me. What's going on? Before people couldn't walk on the street like this, I came 2 years ago and couldn't walk here at night. In the name of Allah. but you can see the suffering in their eyes. They're isolated from the world.
اسلامی، روانشناسی، psychology، history.
History. Taliban.
نه طالبان. نه طالبان history.
This is the hotel we'll stay in tonight.
5 star.
5 stars. It's a big hotel. A cafe? Okay. Look, in the middle of the street. Can you imagine where they got? They have a market called Mujahideen Market. It's an advanced stage of self-sacrifice. So, you can buy any of these weapons, of course by the government. Also, you can find Taliban uniform here. The state's official uniform. It's the weapons market where they also fix them. They're ready. They're all armed. I don't belong here. They're always in a state of war. But how will the Taliban government, after 20 years of war, manage this country? It may take time. A young man told us yesterday, I don't know what to do. I want to fight. Their clothes are nice. Look, personal guards. This is another uniform. They're trying to prove themselves, but they still can't prove themselves. They're still not recognized by any country. It's all for the military. The system, their pictures are everywhere. We're in downtown. The Afghan people are so nice. There used to be many political parties, and they used to be divided, but now the difference is that there's only Taliban ruling. They took control and secured the place. They've succeeded in letting people walk outside safely, taking control of a destroyed country with more than 20 years of power struggle. Peace be upon you. This is the phone market. Peace be upon you. It's not fixed yet. Traffic is not organized. Cars almost don't have license plates. It needs international assistance. A marginalized population. Ooh, it's a normal day in Afghanistan. Anyone who sets his cart in the middle of the street, they come to him with a whip and they whip him. They don't warn him for a violation.
Token doesn't work.
We're in Kabul, in Bazar Mandai. It is the largest market in Kabul. I was born in Saudi Arabia. I came to Afghanistan about 5 years ago. I've lived here before and during the Islamic Emirate. Before, our lives were in danger. Explosions and thieves and bandits. Now, after the Islamic Emirate took over Afghanistan, things got better by 80%.
Tea? They invited us for tea. It's a wondrous country.
And I want a message to all the world to come here, to visit here to Afghanistan.
Okay, we're in a Soviet tank. From here, if you can see, we're in a castle called Balahisar. Look at this Soviet Union tank. It's here. They put it here with a view of Kabul. All the city of Kabul. You can see the flag over there and the US forces here. You can see the leftovers of the Soviets and the leftovers of the US. They left, and the owner of the land stayed in the land.
This place used to be a palace for anybody ruling Afghanistan.
The Mughals used to be here first.
Because it has a view of all of Kabul, and because it is the place that all previous rulers of Afghanistan ruled in. From here, all rulers, even the Mughals.
This is life in malls of Afghanistan. You can't withdraw using international cards like Visa or MasterCard, as there are no international banks, only local banks. Now we're going to a nearby area to see a bridge that used to be called Pablo Escobar Bridge.
Can you imagine that under this bridge there's a hole? Inside it, people who used to die here were piled up inside. Can you imagine? It's like pulling up juice boxes. That's the opening.
They say that this bridge is now called the Bridge of Happiness.
In this place, they used to sell drugs and use them in all their shapes and forms.
But when the Taliban came, they totally destroyed the poppy industry. Afghanistan used to cultivate poppies that opium is extracted from. More than Latin America, more than coca in Latin America, in Colombia and Peru. It used to be the world's largest heroin producer.
Now we're in a shop right next to the bridge, right on top of it. This guy was here for a long time.
Ask him how it used to be here.
He said 2 years ago in this place, it used to be scary. You can't walk here at night from the smell of the drugs and also the risk of being harmed.
In this second part, we'll try to know where did the women disappear to and why there are no schools for girls. And we'll get into a graduating school for the Taliban. To join the Taliban, you have to graduate from this school. We'll get into their palace and sit with Taliban's most prominent figures.
In the US, I was in Guantanamo.
The ministers,
a minister of defense
and
official.
leaders of the Army of Defense.
Afghanistan.